fun and engaging when you have other people up there playing live music and it being loud and in your face and being able to interact with people on stage and move around and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I totally agree with that. I love that a lot of venues like bands. And so that's one of the main reasons why I started a band. And I am so grateful for these people. On drums, I have Bo, and then lead guitar is Jimmy, and our bass guitar is Steve. So they are the most amazing people ever, and they're so talented at what they do. And I am so blessed and lucky and excited to have them on my side, and hopefully we start. I'm hoping by the end of October to get out there with them and start showing people, what we've been practicing for.
Great. Now, how does one go finding a band? I mean, did you put out feelers? Do you go out on the internet? Did you have your manager? If I remember correctly, is your mom still managing your career?
Yes.
Okay. Did she put out feelers for a band? Was it like, hey, Ma, I need a band, and she just said okay? Or how does one go about finding bands? Because what amazes me about country music is that there are so many solo acts, but they all seem to have a band, and I'm like, where do all these people come from? How did you find this group of people to fill out the lineup of the Kelsey Coan Band?
Well, it is a very difficult process, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I remember, yeah. I remember the auditions were just nightmarish when we were holding them, yeah, so I do remember.
Well, I think we found Bo, our drummer, on Facebook. So what we would do is my mom, my manager, would put up, hey, band members wanted, have to be experienced, reliable, that kind of stuff, and put that up on Facebook. And we found our drummer, who is amazing at what he does. It's like crazy to watch him drum. And so that's how we found Bo. And we went on Band Mix, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
I never have. Please educate us. What is Band Mix?
Okay, Band Mix is where you go and sign up, and you can either find already made bands, like already produced bands who are all together, who are all like practicing. You can find musicians, you can find singers, you can find lead guitar, you can find drums, whatever you need. All you got to do is look up what instrument you're looking for, and put in your zip code, like your area, so this way they can find people. You can pick either like 25 miles from you, 50 miles, 10 miles, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like a dating site for finding a band. It's
pretty much.
So do you have to put up like what kind of? You obviously probably have to put up what music you make, what your interests are, what your intentions are, I'd imagine. Yeah.
What I like is that when people have at least one picture of you, a video of you playing at least with a band, or like in your room, like playing something, as long as I like it when there's videos and pictures up. This way you know who you're contacting, and that they can play if they say they can play.
Yeah.
And that was one of the difficult parts. But luckily we found Jimmy. We found him on Band Mix. He's in Phoenixville, PA. So he's a bit away.
Phoenixville. Okay.
Yeah, that's about, I think, an hour and a half away from us.
Oh, in California, that everything's so close together in the East. It's kind of like, wow, hour and a half away. In California, it's like, that's a freeway trip. It's kind of different out here. Everything's so spread out. But so he's in Phoenixville. What about your bass player?
Him and Bo are both in South Jersey.
Oh, cool.
They actually know each other.
Oh.
the drummer, Bo, is in a band called Deja Vu. Okay. And Steve, our bass player, was in a band called Crashing Saturn.
Oh, and that's a cool name. That is a cool name.
I know, right? Yeah. And they knew each other from playing around different places. You know, they would play at the same places and that kind of stuff. And he's like, hey, do you want to join our band? And he's like, sure. So
now, is this going to be the Kelsey Coan band, or is this going to be a project all its own, like with a name like Crashing Saturn?
We're going to stick to the Kelsey Coan band just because people know me like as Kelsey Coan, and I'll kind of want to keep my rep where it is. So this way, you know, people are like, oh, I know that name. Yeah. So this way, it's easier to attach the Kelsey Coan band with Kelsey. So
cool. Now I want to hear some funny stories, if you have any, about the auditions. You don't have to name anybody or anything like that, but did you find people that were just complete like duds and you're like, no, this won't fit? And did you have some pretty humorous moments in trying to find your band?
Oh gosh. Let's see. We've had.
It sounds like it sounds like something. If you don't mind me saying so, it sounds like something popped right in your head, and you're like, "No, I can't talk about that." And then you're like, "Okay, well, maybe, but what happened? What was the process like?"
Well, no, it was a very, like I said, very difficult process. You have to weed out the ones that are very good, very reliable, and are like fully into this, with the ones that are like, okay, well, I can do it, but I need compensation for driving, and I don't have a car right now, and I'm kind of doing this right now, so I can't come to this and this and this. And we're like, okay, well then we'll call you back.
That is rough. I remember that when we were auditioning. Right now we're a bunch of old guys who like get together maybe once a month and talk about recording an album, but yeah, I remember what it was like when we thought we would, you know, go and do something. So we were auditioning people, and yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was before Band Mix, so we would have people come to our home and actually like walk in, and yeah, there were some weirdos out there. So did you have an idea of what you wanted the Kelsey Coan band to be? Did you want it to skew younger, or was it just about the music? Was the image also a factor?
Not really. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, Jimmy is 24.
That's still young.
Yeah. So because I'll be 20 in November, so it's kind of around the same age. Gotcha. And then I have my drummer, Bo, who's 50, I think. And then I have my bass player, Steve, who I think just turned 40. So it's like a variety of ages.
Yeah. And for a country band, it doesn't matter really what the look is. I've noticed in a country band, it's all about the sound. Whereas people like, as you've mentioned, Five Finger Death Punch and Breaking Benjamin, all those guys, they all fit a certain mold. With country bands, it doesn't seem to be as important to have that look. It's just, what chops do you bring to the table, and if you're satisfied with those chops, well then you're good to go.
Definitely.
So tell us what it was like to play with this mix of musicians for the first time. Take us into that place, to that rehearsal studio. What was it like to get together with these guys, and did your mind almost explode at the fact that I have a band? Holy cow.
Okay, well, actually, we rehearsed in my basement in my house. We have a finished basement. I have my own drum set, and we all come down here and we practice. And what you said about, I guess, practicing with the different age groups, I guess you could say.
Yeah, different people, just working with new people. It doesn't matter what age, really, but working with new people, that can be a little bit interesting? Did it just catch fire right away, or did it take a minute, or?
Well, it's crazy how, like, even, like, the older people, like, we're all kind of on the same mentality level. Mm-hmm. Like, we're all focused, we're all amazing at what we do, and we're all, I don't know, we're all, like, fun, I guess, to hang around. Like, I don't know, there's some funny moments. But
that's key. I mean, you need to like each other if you're going to be
definitely
on stage, and you're going to be creating for hours. You're going to have to like each other. Was that first rehearsal? Did you guys get any of that vibe? I mean, what I'm asking about is the band vibe. Have you ever been able to look at somebody and you just know what they're going to play, or you look over, you listen to them and you just have a connection, a click? Did that happen right away? Has it taken some time, or how are you guys clicking musically?
We actually clicked pretty good. I mean, I personally am very shy when you first meet me, but then once, like, after a little bit, I start to go, like, crazy. Like, not crazy, but, like, I actually talk and, like, joke around, and I'm, like, sarcastic and all this kind of stuff. So,
so
once I opened up a little bit,
I
mean, look at the difference between how I talked when I was 17 compared to now. I mean,
yes.
Like I said, once you get to know me, I get a little, out there. But
yeah. And working with three guys, it could be like, you got to have a little bit of the bro sense of humor, I'd imagine. The guy's sense of humor, and just be able to work with them. But it's so important, to have great guys you work with. And have you guys been producing any new material?
We've actually recorded a couple songs from my first album.
Cool.
We re-recorded them and added some rock edge to it, because what we're trying to do musically is really get all my country songs that I did in the past and, like, kick them up a notch and, like,
wow.
and make them a little more rock, make them a little more edgy, and make them a little more current. So that's what we're doing.
Cool.
Yeah, so we recorded. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm listening.
Okay. We recorded Mind Games, Thunderstorm, and Bad Boy. We recorded all three of those at Bob Bowling Audio and Live Recording Studio. Bob is awesome. We went in there and we knocked out each song, like the rough take that you take with the drums before, you add everybody else. Mm-hmm. We actually did it in like 1 or 2 takes, 2 at the very most. And yeah, so we made sure we have our stuff together. We're ready. We're prepared before we go into the studio. And I am so excited for you guys to hear these songs again, because remade with real drums and these such talented people behind me, and really adding and making their own to the song really makes it sound amazing, especially Thunderstorm. Right now, out of those 3, Thunderstorm is my absolute favorite.
Oh, wow. Please send me a copy. I want to.
Oh, believe me, I will.
I want to play it. Once it's ready to go, and once you're comfortable with releasing it, I want to play all 3 of those songs, because I just, knowing what I know now, it's like when I first interviewed you, it was, you were shy and you had these really nice songs, and now I know that you're like into Five Finger Death Punch, you have a band, you're looking to edge it up, and I'm genuinely excited to hear it. I'm genuinely excited to hear it. What does your mom think of the change of direction? Is she pretty supportive?
Yeah, I mean, she likes the old country stuff that I was doing, but she also likes the more rock edge. Just not tutu rock.